On April 16th, the final session of the 7th My Next Raise Founder Funder event unfolded at the Shulman Rogers offices in Park Potomac, where dozens of startups gathered after a day of investor meetings and workshops for a candid discussion on a pressing question in today's venture landscape: why strong companies are struggling to raise capital. The panel, titled "The New Underwriting Stack: Why Good Companies Aren't Getting Funded and How to Fix It," was moderated by Tien Wong, founder of Opus and the Connectpreneur community, and featured Harkirat Ahluwalia, investor at Revolution, Hunter Haines, partner at Next, powered by Shulman Rogers, Mark Phillips, partner at Aprio, and Ade Omitowoju, executive director at JP Morgan. Opening the discussion, Tien Wong framed the moment as one of the most unusual early-stage capital environments in decades, shaped by post-pandemic liquidity surges and a sharp structural reset in venture behavior. Harkirat Ahluwalia pointed to the reality that roughly 30% of current deals are down rounds, with many others flat, as companies that raised at peak 2021 valuations now face pressure to reset expectations or justify their previous pricing through performance. Ahluwalia also noted increasing concentration in venture capital, referencing large-scale funds such as Andreessen Horowitz's recent multi-billion-dollar raise, which he said is tightening the pipeline for early-stage startups as smaller funds become more selective. He stressed that differentiation has shifted away from category labeling, arguing that in an AI-saturated market, every company uses AI, and what matters now is execution, workflow integration, and defensible data advantages.
Hello everyone, I'm Mark Phillips. I'm an audit partner.
Mark Phillips reinforced how AI has changed early-stage economics, allowing smaller teams to accomplish far more than before, which in turn has raised investor expectations that startups do not overraise capital. Hunter Haines expanded the conversation into diligence practices, describing how investor scrutiny has intensified significantly, with issues like missing employee policies, incomplete cap tables, and legal readiness increasingly derailing deals. He emphasized that time kills deals, warning founders against delaying preparation or signing documents without proper legal review, and also referenced evolving changes in qualified small business stock rules that are reshaping early liquidity strategies. Haines also highlighted the increasing misuse of AI tools in legal and financial documentation, noting that founders often rely too heavily on automated outputs that introduce errors or inappropriate templates. Mark Phillips added that investors are increasingly requesting deeper financial validation, including multiple balance sheet reviews, and flagged unresolved tax exposure as a growing diligence issue, following regulatory changes since South Dakota v. Wayfair. A central moment in the discussion came when Hunter Haines introduced the concept of calendar density, describing fundraising as a structured pipeline rather than isolated conversations. He argued that founders who compress large volumes of investor meetings into shorter periods build momentum, accelerate decision-making, and increase competitive tension among investors. Tien Wong later endorsed the idea, describing fundraising as a top-of-funnel sales process, where consistency and volume determine outcomes. Throughout the session, the panel repeatedly returned to the idea of founder market fit, with Harkirat Ahluwalia stressing that at the pre-seed stage, investors are primarily underwriting the founder's lived experience and insight rather than a finished product. Tien Wong connected this to broader industry thinking, noting its alignment with recent perspectives from Mark Andreessen. The discussion closed with a broader reflection on the evolving venture environment, where valuations have reset, diligence has become more rigorous, and fundraising itself now demands the same level of discipline as building a product. As Tien Wong concluded, founders in the room were reminded that while capital remains available, success increasingly depends on preparation, execution, and the ability to run a focused, high-intensity fundraising process in a far more selective market.
I'm here at Shulman Rogers, just moderated an amazing panel on fundraising and the difficulties that we've faced over the last 3 years, and some advice from our awesome panelists on what some of the founders in the room can do. We had representatives from JP Morgan. We had Ade here. We had Hunter Haines from Next, powered by Shulman Rogers. We had several. We had Mark, who gave us the accounting background, the viewpoint, and of course Hark from Revolution. So we covered a lot of ground in a very short amount of time, and it was just a pleasure to be there. One of the terms I learned today was the term calendar density from Hunter. The reason for calendar density, meaning you have your calendar packed with meetings, meaningful meetings with potential investors, because that's what you got to do, and treat it like a sales process. And don't expect to have one meeting a week or one meeting every day even, and for the checks to start rolling. And it doesn't work like that right now. And we had a great discussion about AI, some do's and don'ts. The audience was asking, for pieces of advice not to do and pieces of advice to do. And yeah, it was awesome. And I really applaud Shulman Rogers and Next, powered by Shulman Rogers, and the team here. Anthony, Larry, Lisa Hunter, and Sam, who made an appearance as well. Really admire what they're doing to bring together a community of entrepreneurs and innovators, as well as investors and funders, and actually facilitate one-on-one meetings to help catalyze what's happening in our community. So absolutely honored and thrilled to be here, and I urge you to check out the next event and keep following the great things that Potomac 24 is doing. We're so happy to have a great relationship with them, and yeah. So that's it for me.
My team, we invest in Series A and B software and AI companies, whereas Broad Revolution, we invest in all sorts of companies from pre-seed up until growth stage companies. I had an awesome day. I think I talked to about 8 companies one-on-one, building very, very cool solutions from healthcare into manufacturing. As well, these events put on today are extremely important, as it really brings the whole ecosystem together.
If I had to give one piece of advice to take away that you might have heard on my panel, it is to have calendar density when you're raising money. Calendar density is super important, helps drive FOMO in the fundraising process, and helps you commit to a full life cycle of raising funds, especially important in the pre-seed and seed days. Thank you, guys.